Well, hey everybody. Welcome to Shift Break from Keys to the Shop. My name is Chris DiFurio, and happy Thursday to you, or I guess whenever you happen to be listening to this episode. But every Thursday we come out with a short episode that's a little bit easier to consume in one sitting, and hopefully these have been helpful for you. And so happy to have you here, and let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about the Barista Slump. I want to offer some encouragement for those of you who find yourself in the midst of feeling down and out, basically. You want to be in coffee. That's your passion. That's your desire. And all signs, up until this point at least, have pointed to this being the career for you. Chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you take your career in coffee seriously. And you want to get better. So first off, I want to say that this is completely normal. To feel like you've lost the passion a little bit, to feel lost in general, to not have the kind of clarity that you want or the certainty, the connection, the recognition, the opportunities, things that are sort of threatening to disenfranchise you, things that make you question, did I make the right choice, or was my choice made in haste? Now, I want to say that I've had this particular set of thoughts as recently as like a few weeks ago. And it's no joke. As you go in your career, you reach different levels of understanding of yourself and the world around you and your professional world. And naturally what happens is you start to ask yourself questions. And you realize, as I realize now after many years of going through these things, that this is a natural cycle. It's a natural process that just repeats itself. There's a part of everybody's career that comes up at some point, and then it repeats, where we just feel awful. We just feel lost. We don't know what to do, and we despair. Now, if that's you today, I want to offer some encouragement. And I want to offer encouragement in first that truth that I just mentioned is that this is normal to feel like that, because it all can't be happy and exciting and inspirational all the time. It's not realistic. Life itself is just not like that. I don't really need to explain that one. There are pockets of time that really push us through, and there are pockets of time where we just dwell in a mire, basically, And I'll tell you that right now, I'm feeling very weary. Just to be open with all of you, I'm feeling pretty weary, schedules are tight, and, there's a lot of things on my mind in lots of different areas between work and family and, working through my own personal issues, and it all kind of comes together, and, there's some lack of sleep involved. And, to top it all off, my son has been sick in the last few days, and that's just kind of compounded the already existing weariness that has kind of been growing. Sometimes there's seasons of life where it all just happens at the same time. But here's the thing. I want to use my son as an example. He's going to be 5 years old this year, and he doesn't really have as developed an immune system as I do. And the reason is exposure and time. Those two things. The reason why I can handle sickness a little bit better than he can right now has a lot to do with how often I've handled sickness in my almost now 40 years of life. Now, 40 compared to 5, he is going through a phase of developing his immune system. It's been a while since I've been sick, and I can fight it better. But he's been sick several times, many more times in the same period than I have. And what the body does is it develops its ability to fight disease by practicing fighting disease. That's just the way that it kind of develops. You take in germs. Why parents are oftentimes okay with their kids playing in dirt, because those germs get in there. The body builds its immune system and its defenses. And, as you suffer through these sicknesses and these feelings, you get stronger and stronger over time. And you start to be less freaked out by the idea of sickness. One of the things that he's exhibiting is something we all exhibit when we get sick, and that is a lack of vibrancy, a lack of energy. Like, we went on a walk in the forest, and he couldn't walk as much as he normally does, which is a ton. He was very weary. And he's weary for a reason that is lost on him right now. And I'm trying to explain it to him, but his body is taking all of the reserves and all of the energy that he has right now and using it to fight the disease. And it doesn't really have much energy to spend on walking. It's busy doing other things. So I've come to view the slumps that we experience as baristas or coffee professionals, where we don't feel that clarity or purpose, and we kind of are in that hyper questioning mode, and we feel isolated, etc. Lack of vibrancy the way we used to feel it. These are times where you are developing your immune system. You're developing a thicker skin. And in a way, you have to both look at what you can do to be healthier, for sure. There's no debating that. Where you are as a professional in the outside environment, not discounting that. But there's a sense in which leaning into the discomfort of that uncertainty is a necessary part to developing the thickness of your skin as a professional, and really getting a strong sense of purpose. Because if you constantly run to something to alleviate the pain that's natural, which is, when your body fights disease, there's some pain involved. Doctors actually will warn against trying to sort of subvert the body's natural defenses and alleviate too much, because it will interfere with the natural course of eliminating the disease, and also it will weaken the development of your immune system. So if you feel like you're in a slump and you want to feel better about being in a slump, it's tempting to want to grab onto something and reach for the closest, bottle of feel good. And maybe that comes in the form of social media or, various types of affirmations, where you actually might be better off wrestling with that hard question and going through the pain of that, dark night of the soul, so to speak, and coming out the other end with a more solid foundation as an individual. And it's much better to look back on years and years of professional work and know that you have developed a strong sense of self and purpose along the way through some hard-fought battles, than it is to look back and realize that you just avoided conflict altogether, but have come out the other end rather shallow because of the avoidance of hardship. So what I would like you to think about is this. When you feel these feelings of being down and out and despondent and kind of forecasting the end, we can be a little dramatic during these times. When you're in those moments, realize that so much of what your career will be about over the years is a mystery. We want to plan things, we want clarity, we want certainty, but none of that is really going to be there for us. We can have goals and we can try to achieve them, but who we become is going to be something different than we intend. And I like the way David White puts it, and he poses it in the form of a question, and this is from his book, What to Remember When Waking. He says, "What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky?" I love that because it implies this mystery of who you are being unfurled as life goes on. And there is always going to be that beautiful uncertainty, which leads to surprise, where we surprise ourselves and we surprise other people. And this time that you're experiencing right now, if this is you, or if you're going to experience something like this later on, just know that when it comes time, going through this will help you chart the course for your career in the future. Lean into it and realize you're not alone. This is natural. You're building up your immune system and you're building up a healthy career as you pursue your goals, as you work, as you do these things. This is going to be one of those things that helps shape who you are. How you spread your branches against the future sky. What kind of a friend will you be? What kind of a professional will you be? Or, how will you relate to your family? That version of you is yet to be discovered. And this moment is a very pivotal and shaping moment. And I find that very exciting, even though I, personally feel tired. I feel professionally like, my son feels. I can't walk as far as I normally do. But when I come out the other side, I'm stronger for it. And I feel 10 times better than I did even before I got sick. Something about being sick or going through something hard, that when things turn back to normal, it just feels that much better. So that's what's been on my mind lately. I apologize for the rambling, or maybe it's a couple of minutes longer than I intended it to be, but these are just things that I've been thinking about as I've been sort of wrestling with, thoughts as, I'm near 40 years old, but I know from past experience that this is not going to undo me. This is normal. This is a normal process, and I look forward to seeing how this shapes who I become in the future, and how it affects those around me as I use this moment well for mine and their benefit. So that's it for today's show. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you back here next Thursday for Shift Break from Keys to the Shop.